Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Speaking Spurs with me, Kieran, talking all things Tottenham, and unfortunately we need to talk about another London derby defeat. This is becoming a bit of a shocking statistic that's going on now, where we just can't seem to get over the line, get up for these games. And I think the biggest frustration of this one is we controlled large portions of the game. So, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, like and comment. But look, we'll jump into it. So, there we were at the London Stadium, losing 1-0 to West Ham in the Premier League, which meant that they are now in fourth. They leapfrog us thanks to a Mikel Antonio goal. Easy finish for him, really. We'll talk about that a bit later. However, great ball from Aaron Cresswell from the corner. An outswinger, kept it within the realms of the 6-yard box. Good pace on it, good height. Good dip. Just great set piece, really. Worryingly, we had no shots on goal in the second half at all. Both teams named starting 11s that they'd had in their previous Premier League games. No changes for either team, and not surprised based on the results that they'd actually had. And also based on the fact that our second string 11, apart from Davinson Sanchez, no one really showed any reason to be included whatsoever. But based on the fact that Romero and Dyer had played well the week before, you can understand why they were kept as a partnership and Sanchez was not started. Talking about what Nuno had said after the game, he said we were the better team. We had chances and possession. West Ham only created chances on the counter-attack and set pieces, which, yes, is true, but the fact is they created their chances and they took one of them. That's all it took to win the game. They took one chance out of all that they created themselves on the counter and from the set piece. How many goals did we score? 0. How many chances did we create that were great? Not many, if I'm honest. It was one of those games. It was so lackluster in the fact that I agree, we did control the game, but we controlled the game in the middle of midfield. We didn't really do much in terms of create. We had a lot of the ball at times. We started a bit slow, which is, it's a recurring theme of Tottenham Hotspur. Doesn't seem to matter who the manager is at the moment. We start games slowly. It takes a while for us to wake up into the games. But when we finally got a foothold in the game, we were just dilly-dallying about with the ball. Essentially, West Ham allowed us to have the possession. They didn't press over the top. There was a lot of soft pressing going on, allowing us to play the ball about because we weren't doing anything with it. And yes, they hit us on the counter several times. That's the way it was. So yes, Nuno's right. We were the better team in a sense, but we weren't. We were better in the sense that we knew how to keep the ball, but there was a lot of sideways passing, backwards passing. If you want to talk about, through balls, we were shocking. A lot of the time, the balls, of what I seem to grasp, there was no cleverness about this. People would see a run of a player, and instead of waiting to see if it was a good run or there was a clear path for the ball, they would try and force it. In central areas, especially, round the edge of the 18-yard box, there were so many balls, and this is by every player going forward. They just tried to force a ball through. There was no quality involved. It was just get a toe on it and hope for the best and hope we get onto it. But one thing I will say West Ham did very well in those situations, they made it hard for us to find the pass through. I'm not putting it all on us. West Ham did defend well. They were compact in the right areas. I thought Declan Rice was excellent with his defensive display. He's got long legs. He's quite good at just nicking the ball. He nicked the ball quite a few times off of Lucas Moura when he was trying to dribble. But we know what Moura can be like with that, which we'll allude to in a bit. Kane reverted back to the Kane that we've had so far this season. Brightened up for a couple of games and has just, he's just crept back into that quiet player. I thought he was quite sloppy in his build-up play. His movement off the ball wasn't great. It was almost like he was trying to mark himself. He only had 35 touches the whole game, which is the least amount of touches of any player in a Spurs shirt. And usually from defensive corners, he's very good. Gets his head on a lot of things, gets a lot of clearances. He was the one marking Antonio for the goal, which I found kind of strange that you would not put Dyer or Romero on him. But yeah, for the goal, if you watch it back, Antonio I don't think they saw the ball till quite late, but All Antonio does is stick a leg out. That's all he does. There was no real quality in it whatsoever. Stuck his leg out and it, puts it in the back of the net. All Harry Kane had to do was stick his leg out right next to Antonio's and then it's blocked. But, it is what it is. That's how poor it was. But I'm not taking away from the ball. It was a great ball. But Antonio had more desire, reacted quicker. We go 1-0 down. The lineup was the same as what we had in the last Premier League game. So Lloris in goal, Royale and Reguilon as left back and right back, Romero and Dyer with their centre back partnership, Højbjerg and Skippy maintaining the two holding midfielders in the double pivot, then Mora and Sonny operating the wings, and Ndombele in the middle and Kane up top on his own. Substitutes that we used in the end, Hill and Lo Celso came on the 83rd minute. A game where we've struggled to create for most of the game, not enough intensity. You bring on two creative players with 7 minutes to go. Then to make things worse, there was 4 minutes added time. You bring Bergwijn on 90 minutes. 90 minutes. Now let's look at that. Usually substitutions at the end of the games are made for the team that's winning to waste a bit of time. We are the losing team and we make a substitution of a player like Bergwijn who would have had a decent chunk of energy to come on for 4 minutes. I mean, one of my biggest criticisms of Harry Redknapp when he was in charge is that he always waited a little bit too long. I loved him as a manager. Thought he got us playing some really good football. Had a great group of lads in there. But his substitutions were always a little bit too late. You'd want a substitution on the 60th minute. It'd come 75, 80 minutes. With Nuno, I wanted substitutions at 60 minutes and we got them at 83 and 90. In a London derby where we're just ambling about with the ball. No real intensity. And this is what we get. It's too late for them to affect the game. It normally takes players at least 10 minutes to get up to speed with the game. At the time, we didn't know that it was going to be 4 minutes added on. So what you essentially did was say, yeah, Hill and Lo Celso, you can have 7 minutes. And Bergwijn, you can have a couple. It's just not good enough. Players that I thought were okay throughout the game. I thought Royale is getting better with every game he plays. I thought he had an okay game. Skip, again, considering his age, considering the career he's had so far, I thought, again, was excellent. He's really bedded himself into this squad. He puts himself about, gets involved in everything. The guy is a motor. He is everywhere. Romero was okay. He had a lot of moments where, he's good on the ball. Let's not get that wrong. I know I said in one of the previous games he'd actually lost the ball a lot. But that's going to happen with a centre-back that loves being on the ball, loves to try and create and move. He is comfortable with the ball at his feet. That's definite. That's, it's obvious to see when you watch him. So I think he's getting better. So as I said, through balls was shocking. One of the people who's through balls from deep I didn't enjoy watching was Højbjerg. I thought his passing was terrible. He kept trying this long angled ball over the top for Reguilon out on the left wing. The amount of times it just went out of play. It was too far ahead of him. There was just no real connection between them two whatsoever. Reguilon was essentially just running forward aimlessly at balls that were never going to get to him. Sonny spent too much time coming inside. And I know that's meant to happen so Reguilon can bomb on ahead of him, but it wasn't happening enough. What else? I mean, I thought Lloris was okay. Again, there wasn't really too much Hugo Lloris did wrong. He could do absolutely nothing for Antonio's goal whatsoever. Because they were so close to the goal anyway. Unless he had the world's quickest reactions, he was never getting to it. But I thought for the rest of the game, he was quite good, made a couple of decent saves. But I feel like he's been fine pretty much the whole season so far. Lucas Moura, some good, some bad, and that's the way it is with him. He tried to make things happen, as he always does. Plenty of running, lots of running in and out of people, but several times ran into danger. He has this real habit of, he's got quick feet, he's got good close control. This needs to come up more. His head is down way too much and just runs himself into dark alleys where he just ends up getting sandwiched out and the move is gone. What else? Is there anything else really to talk about? I mean, I thought Ndombele was good in moments, and that's about it. But I feel like sometimes players find it difficult to play with Ndombele because he sees things quicker than they do. That's just the footballing mind he's got. But I still need him to have a bit more grit and determination when he gets tackled and goes to the floor and wants a foul and doesn't get it. He's not quick enough to get up and carry on. Like, that really annoys me about him. There needs to be more bite and passion within his game. Yeah. I mean, there's not too much really to say because we controlled the game. The issue is the attacking players not connecting. That is the massive issue. I feel like, West Ham didn't really create a lot. I actually thought Antonio was excellent in his hold-up play, his work rate. He's very strong. He's come on leaps and bounds. And he's a bit of a thorn in our side at the moment. He's enjoying scoring against Spurs, so we need to find a way to contain him when we play West Ham. But really, we've got the quality to get over the line. The players that we've got definitely should have been able to see this game off, and we just need to get that final ball right. That really was all that was lacking at times, because where I say we're controlling the game, passing it side to side, keeping the ball, that's all patient build-up play, waiting for a gap to happen. And then these frustration balls, as I said, they were just forceful, hopeful balls. But when they're not working, you need to find a different way. Harry Kane doesn't find himself in the box enough to get on the end of crosses. Lucas Moura is a fantastic header of the ball. He jumps well, gets over players. So, in my opinion, all you need to do, get the balls out wide, get Kane and Moura into the box, and start whipping crosses in. I mean, I think the closest we got with a header was Ndombele, but he just got the header wrong. Instead of glancing it into the bottom corner, he tried to put a bit of power on it and ended up going right at the goalkeeper. But he's not someone you traditionally expect to be on the end of a cross. But, it is what it is. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what Nuno sees. Did he just not bring players off the bench because he doesn't trust them? I mean, we certainly saw this with Mourinho at times. He didn't trust certain players, so just wouldn't bring them on, even if we needed changes on the pitch. Maybe Nuno's seen the exact same thing, that beyond the first 11, the rest are just not good enough. But I mean, I suppose we'll see more of that when we come to the January transfer window to see what's going to happen there. But as of right now, you can't just blame Nuno. Yes, he's getting things wrong at times. Substitutions need to happen earlier. He needs to be braver. He needs to take off some of the bigger players and not be scared to do so. But again, he's not a big name manager. And I suppose the worry comes in that if he starts doing that and loses the bigger guys in the dressing room, he's going to be out the door. That's what's going to happen. They're not going to keep him round if Kane, Sonny, Højbjerg, Lloris all start turning on him. So, I don't know. I really don't know what the answer is. It's a very difficult one. Let me know in the comments below what you think the answer is at this stage. Do we just cut ties with Nuno? Do we let him have the January transfer window to try and beg to see which players he can get out the door and which ones can come in? It's certainly a worrying moment because, for me, Nuno can only set a certain amount of players out there, but once they're on the pitch, it's the effort that gets me. As much as I think Romero was okay on the ball and stuff, he had a good game in that sense. Defensively, he was okay. He was good on the ball. My issue with Romero, there was no urgency. I mean, with 10 minutes to go, he'd be picking up the ball at centre-back. He'd have a little look around. Am I going to play it here? No. I'll just play it sideways back to Dyer. There was no urgency whatsoever. And it was really disappointing to see that with 10 minutes to go, our players were looking up, not finding a way through and just casually moving it along the back line. You've got 10 minutes to get back in the game. Push, work. Why are people so lazy? I don't understand it. I get it in my team that I play for. Some of the guys, you just watch them ambling about in the game. Have a bit of pride and work your socks off. Work yourself into the ground. If you're knackered, come off. That's why you have substitutes. They're not just for injuries and tactical changes. You can be tired and come off. No one's going to moan at that. I would rather all 3 substitutions that we get to make in the Premier League are because players have run themselves into the ground trying, and we have to put fresh legs on. That's what I want to see. That's what I want people to do for the Badger Spurs. I almost swore there. But yeah, it's not good enough at the moment. There's definitely some underlying issues, hangover from last season, the summer, the transfer window. A new manager can often bring problems if things don't click straight away. I mean, it's a complete personality change from when Mourinho was there. So, yeah, that's it for today. And we'll get back to normal videos tomorrow, talking about the ins and outs of stories coming from Spurs. But, you know, that's my take on the game. I didn't want to go into the ins and outs of what happened throughout the game on certain minutes, chances created, blah, 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 because it's not about that now. It's about the effort of the players on the pitch, and do they want to fight to be at this club? That's what it's about now. They need the hunger. We as the fans deserve better from them. And they're certainly not making things easy for Nuno, because, you know, they're not playing for him at the moment, that's for sure. So, that's it for today. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Come on, you Spurs.